Hi, my name is Aaron Short. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today is Monday, October 24th. Happy pre-Halloween, and the year's almost over again. I can't believe it. It's crazy. Cheers, everybody. I got a lot to talk about this week. Before I begin, I'm trying the headset this week, and the reason that I'm trying the headset is actually there's two things that are different you might notice from last time. One is the headset, and the reason I want to use the headset today is to see if it eliminates all of the airplane noise, because the planes are flying. When I have the mic above me, it looks good, doesn't it? Because there's no mic in the shot. I'll still keep that. But the problem is that it's ultra sensitive. So when I turn up the headphones, I can still hear the neighbor's TV. I can hear the plane. The planes are really loud, especially in an interview. So I want to try the headset for certain streams, not everything, but certain streams. There's a plane right now. Can you hear it? Going over me right now. Normally I'll hear like a whoosh in the mic. So this is a good option. And this mic is not a condenser. This is a dynamic mic. So it's not as sensitive either. It's a more directional microphone. This is a broadcast kind of headset. Yeah. So we'll see. So far I really like it. And I feel like lots of people are using headsets now anyway on YouTube, so I'll just do the same thing. But let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. You should be able to. That's the first thing out of the way. The second thing is I went to a trade show last week, which is the one behind me. And see if anyone can guess what the trade show is. Anyone that I've told what it is, please don't enter the competition. Anyone that I've not told what I went to last week, what is the trade show behind me? Does anybody know? Put it in the chat. Win a prize. The prize is a congratulations from me. While we do that, I'll say hi to Bernard Smith. Hi to Dr. McFarland. Kemper for life. We'll talk about that. I'll talk about that later on, Doc. Hi, Patsy and Rosanna. Thanks for moderating. I bet we'll get some of those clowns in here today, so thank you for being here, because that just saves me having to watch the chat all the time. I appreciate it. Don't ask me an algebra question. What are you talking about? I'm confused. Jim says hi from Vermont. Although, is that a private joke? Fine, I'll let you have that. No plane noise. Yeah, I noticed it too. Really should have used that on the interviews. Remember I did the interviews and you'd hear the plane go whoosh, and I'd keep trying to mute it all the time. Well, with this, I can do a live stream anytime and not worry about that, I feel. Oh, thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. You should have come on here. We should do a thing together and talk about the Kemper at some point. Oh, he got it right too. AES. Look, there's a blast from the past. Chad Boston. I don't like that air horn noise. Have I got a better one here? Yeah, this is the best one. Chad, how you doing, buddy? How's life? How's things going? I haven't spoke to you in months or years or decades even. So, where was I? Yeah, we'll talk about Doc McFarland's Kemper realization later on. But yes, you're right. This was the AES show. Now I have a whole video about this. So I'm going to be posting probably tomorrow morning. I've finished the video, and I went to the show. The show was excellent, and it's all in the video, so I'm not going to tell you too much about it. I might show you what was my favorite product from there, which I think the musicians will be really interested in. So I'll give you a little teaser of my favorite product. My favorite product was from IK Multimedia, and I'm going to show you the product on the other screen. IK Multimedia. I'm really, really impressed with this, and I'll show you why. Okay. So they already had some speakers called the iLoud speakers, which are these ones here. And people would say that they were really good and affordable at $400. Well, there's now a version which is like high quality, supposedly. I haven't really heard them yet, but I love the idea. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, they're called the Precision. And there's three different ones. Giveaway. It's always a giveaway now. Giveaway. There's three versions, the 5.5, the 6.5, and then the big ones, which are two 5-inch speakers with one in the middle. So I'll click on this one in the middle here. And they are already louder than my monitor speakers, which is quite nice. I don't really need that, but the cool thing with these is they come with a microphone. And what this microphone does is you plug it into each speaker. You have to do one at a time, and you hold it there in different positions. It guides you on the software how to do this. And what it does is it figures out in your room the EQ curve of the acoustics of the room. So you'll basically see when it's done what's wrong with your room, because studio monitors are voiced to be completely flat. All right, so the ideal situation is you master an album at Abbey Road, they give it to you, and you listen back to it in a room which is treated acoustically, and then you have speakers that are completely flat. Now, sometimes you might not want that. Sometimes you might want speakers that have some character to them. But when you're mixing or playing back Kemper profiles or anything like that, you want to hear completely flat, ideally, because ideally the person that made those Kemper profiles also had a speaker that was completely flat. But aside from that, the reason I think they're really cool is that I noticed on most people's waveforms that these generated that there's a lot of low-end mud. And the low-end mud, when I play acoustic in here and it feeds back, is always around that frequency, like between 100 and 200 hertz. So I noticed that that's the same. With all the ones I've seen, all the reviews I've seen so far have got that 6 dB increase around that frequency, and that is the frequency that makes your guitar take off and feedback. So I'm always notching that out anyway. So the cool thing about these is straight away you've got them calibrated to the room, so your mixers are going to be cleaner, and also even your acoustic guitar is going to feedback less in theory. And then I guess you might want to go and take even more out possibly, but it'd be nice to start from a place where you haven't got the rumble of the room, and where when you try something, you're hearing what the person that intended. You're hearing it in the way that it's intended to be. So I really love that idea with these speakers. Now, of course, that means they're more expensive because they come with the microphone. They don't come with the XLR cable. They come with the microphone. They come with the app. The app adds about 2.5 milliseconds of latency. That's not too bad for what it's doing, I feel. The app also has other things as well. You can have custom configurations and EQ curves and things like that. So I was really impressed with the theory of these. So you can get a piece of software like this for your existing speakers if you want to. But then you've got to run it in the background the whole time. Whereas with these, anything you put through them at any time will be corrected for the room. So I just love this. I love the idea of this. And I would love to have, in one day, have a PA system like this, where I can go to a gig and the PA figures out the acoustics of the room and flattens the sound, and then I plug into it. Because so many times that you have speakers in an office or a studio, maybe a studio is the wrong word, but say a home studio like mine, an office, or you're at a gig and the speaker's forced into the back corner of the room, what you end up getting is just a bunch of low-end frequency that you don't want. You get a load of mud there to start with. I've always noticed that. I've always had to do high-pass cuts, frequency filters, and ring out feedback. I've always had to do that at all these gigs forever. So it'd be so nice to eliminate that part of the problem, and that's what these could do. So I'm interested in these, but yeah, they're $1,000 each. That's the only thing. But if you're looking for studio monitors, I would consider, even though I haven't tried them yet, I love the idea of these, and I would definitely check these out if you're looking for studio monitors. So that's the thing that I enjoyed the most at the show. And then I'll be uploading a video later where I talk through and go through the whole thing. I interviewed IK Multimedia, Focusrite, Podbean, Melodyne. I tried to interview the companies that I either used their products or I was interested in. So Mogami were there. I got them on camera. It's just a funny funny little thing, but that was Mogami were there, so I had them on the camera. I couldn't. It was really funny. You'll see at the end of my video. I couldn't talk to FabFilter. I love FabFilter, and that's what I use in those acoustic guitar videos where I go through and check out the do the tone matching and things like that. And I could not get to their booth because they were inundated with people, mostly young people, the whole time, because they obviously love those plugins for the kind of music that they do. I was really impressed. I was really blown away. I literally could not talk to the guy. And even like Melodyne, I stood there for like 10 minutes to chat with him. But with the FabFilter guys, I just couldn't. I kept lining up. I'm not saying there was thousands of people at the booth. There was like, 5 or 10 at a time. But throughout the whole day, I could not get a talk with that company. And that just proves how good the company is. Like they have a lot of people using those plugins. That's the FabFilter. I use the FabFilter EQ, the Pro Q. Excellent. But there's loads of other plugins that are popular as well. So, all right, I'm going to answer a question that came in during the week. So, I thought this was really interesting. This came from a viewer, Kelly Harrison, and Kelly said, "Hi Aaron, I must be following your lead. I sold my Princeton and bought a Kemper. That's exactly what I did. So that's interesting. Like you, I've had a Kemper a few years ago. Yes, I think I had 2 in the past, and sold it on because I got overwhelmed with option paralysis. Yes, me too, and lack of knowledge about effects and amps. Well, for me, it was the options, definitely. It was the idea that I could download all of these amp profiles and never know if I had the best sound for me. So I do agree with what you're saying there too. It sounds like we have a lot in common. But last week, I sold my 68 Princeton Reverb reissue after the tremolo started ticking. Oh dear. Not to mention the noise floor on the Reverb was pretty high. Oh dear, that's not good. So that's the problem with analog gear. With analog gear, you're going to get those problems. You're going to have to retube it and have it serviced every few years, because that's the kind of problem you'll get with analog gear. Now, you still get the same problem with digital as well. You're still going to have them fixed. Digital doesn't mean it's unbreakable, right? But that is one of the problems you get with analog gear. So it's also not as flexible, of course. Long story short, I'm blown away by how good the Kemper sounds and kicking myself in the butt for selling it 2 years ago. I find myself doing a circle with gear I've owned. For example, I sold the Boss RC600 and bought the RC5, which I also sold on. How do you deal with the frustration of buying something you previously sold for a huge loss and then buying it back for even more money? I've lost thousands of dollars on buying and selling gear since COVID. Be curious how you cope with the craziness. Well, that really resonated with me because that's exactly my story as well. I must have had 3 Kempers, maybe 4. I must have had, I think I had like 2 Quad Cortexes, and some guitars as well I've had 2 or 3 times. I totally resonate with this, so I wanted to talk about it on the stream. And I'm glad, I'm glad you got a Kemper and you like it. The funny thing is, I want to talk about that in the video. Like, is the Kemper still relevant in 2022? But the funny thing with the Kemper is that I feel the same. There's a lot of options there. And why didn't I like it before? I don't think it was that I didn't like it. I remember telling people that I liked it, but there was something about it. And I think what it is is that I wasn't used to hearing the guitar through the studio monitors. And there's a few theories I have here. One is that in lockdown I used the in-ear monitors. So those in-ear monitors got me used to hearing guitar in my headphones. And I wasn't used to that before. So that's one thing. That's one reason why I now like the Kemper. Because when I'm playing a live stream and use the Kemper, I really like how it sounds. The other thing is, like I just mentioned about those new monitor speakers, they don't have all that low-end mud. Whenever I played guitar in here, I always found it very muddy and not bright. And I think that was one of the problems. My room was creating a lot of bass build-up, especially before I put the foams up. Although the foams are still, it's nothing. It's just, I just threw some foam up there to try to help. It's not professionally treated by any means. The third thing, I think, is the biggest thing for me is the Kemper cab. Now, if you play electric guitar in a band with in-ear monitors, which is something I hope to do one day, because it's just easier and better, I think, then that's fine. But if you're so used to having the amp in the room like I was, the Kemper Cab is a real game changer because it really does sound like an amp in the room when you get the right settings on it. So I feel like I've got the right settings now. And I really feel like it gives me that experience. It gets really close. It's so close that I haven't played a real amp in a few months. I just play the Kemper Cab all the time. It's really great. And then the other there's so many great things about that I could talk about, but I want to save that for a video. But one of them is, for example, it's got the digital out, so I can plug it straight into the Apollo Twin. When if I want to record, I just go. So yes, it doesn't have everything. It doesn't have an XLR input. It doesn't have tons of flexibility, but as a straight up like amp and pedal board replacement, which is mostly what I need, I don't really do a lot of weird routing and stuff like that. And I'd love to sing through it. I'd love to sing through the Quad Cortex, but as I said before, the Quad Cortex doesn't have all the vocal processing. So many of these products have so many things that are missing. I almost feel like they're all friends, these companies, and they've deliberately made each product to fit into a market where people like me and Kelly will go out and buy them all. So I'll let you comment on that. But I've also, as I said before, I've made a change lately. I don't just want to get something and talk about it immediately, because I want to. Although I have to talk about things eventually, like with the Kemper, I like the fact that I can make a video and say, "Hi everyone, I've been using this happily for the last 3 months." That's got to mean a lot more than just making the video, right? It's got to. So I really like that idea, that approach as well. Although I still reserve the right to then turn around and say, actually, I decided to get something else. But at least you got 3 months behind that review and conversation, and not 3 minutes or 3 hours or 3 days, I should say. All right, so thank you for the email, and that was a good question. But next time, feel free to ask it on the Monday chat, because I can't always answer the emails. But that was such a cool thing, because we've been through exactly the same thing. It's almost uncanny, you know. Okay, all good. The old crew's here again. Vic, how you doing, Vic? Good to see you. Thomas Moore, good to see you. Where's Rohith? I haven't seen Rohith in a long time. No. Pooh Ninja's here. Pooh Ninja says, acoustic treatment is worth every penny if done correctly. I agree. And I wanted to do it. But the thing is, it can cost a lot of money. And if you're in an apartment, if you're in somewhere you might not be in a few years' time, it's a big investment. And you've also got to get the big panels and things. Actually, it was the AES show where I spoke to people about this treatment a few years ago. I just went online and bought those foam things and stick them up, and they keep falling down. They're better than they were, but a few of them have fallen down again. I feel they're better than nothing. A good experiment you can do, and you can do this in the room you're in right now, is just clap your hands together. Now, I've got my noise gate on, so you're not going to really hear the results. But if I do that in our bedroom, you'll get a ringing sound. It's really crazy. You'll hear this ringing sound reflecting. What's happening is that sound is hitting the wall, and especially the corners of the wall, and bouncing off the walls. And you hear that ringing throughout the room. So that's what you definitely don't want. In here, once I put the foams up and did it, it went away pretty much. Sometimes when I'm doing a video, I still hear a ringing frequency in the vocal microphone. And that is that reflection, probably from the ceiling. I think, again, especially with the condenser mic, because the condenser mic, even the shotgun mic, is picking up from all around it, not just in front of it. Like this is picking up just here, okay? This is dynamic. Condensers, and the shotgun is still a condenser mic. Although it's pointing forward at me, and that's called a shotgun, it actually picks up from around it as well. And that is one of the problems that you can have doing video. So I definitely recommend this, actually. If you're doing videos, just get a headset like this, or at least get the dynamic shirt mic, lapel mic. Definitely do that. You can still use in-ears, or if you're talking by yourself, you don't need in-ears at all. Like right now, I don't need the headphones on because I'm not talking with someone. It's nice to monitor the sound effects, but I don't really need them. I'm just monitoring myself. But it's it eliminates all that background noise, especially when you have a noise gate as well. It's really, really cool. And then, yes, try to soundproof the room, not soundproof, but sound treat the room as much as you can. Put the rugs down, put furniture in there. So like right now in here, there's no furniture. So it was a real problem. And in the old days, there was at least a couch in here. So now there's nothing. So. But yes, if you're really serious about recording, the problem with me is, as you've heard, the planes are flying. It's so hard for me to record anyway, because half the time I go to record, there's a plane flying over the microphone. So the best thing is, yeah, it's a good idea to treat the room. There was even a company who was not on my video, AES, that sells soundproofing for your existing windows. So you don't have to replace your windows. They send you they take the measurements and they send you basically a screen or a window that goes over the window, creating a space in between, an air gap, and that will reduce the sound. But I feel like here, even if I did that, you'll still hear the planes simply because of the water, just so close to the airport. It would obviously help, but I think you'll still hear the planes. You'll still hear the neighbor's TV and things like that. So you really can't beat a dynamic microphone up close like this. Because remember, the shotgun mic is this far away from my head. So it's got all that space to pick up the noise, you know. So it's amazing. I'm still learning a lot about this stuff as I go. The videos and the live streaming stuff. Still learning all this stuff about it as I go. Kind of crazy, isn't it? And a bit like gear, there's no right answer. Because it's nice to have a shotgun mic and in-ear monitors so you just have nothing on your head or in front of your face. But it's also nice to have this set up where it's all in one and you don't have to hear any outside noise. It's just your voice. And you could make a video at any time of the day. And I mentioned I spoke with Podbean at the show, at the AES show, and it was the same thing. I said to them, "Oh, if I have these, I could do a podcast and just pick a topic and just talk about it, and I can put that as a podcast and also on YouTube, either with video or without video. Doesn't really matter if it's a podcast, but it's a way of easy making a video. If you've got that noise gate, you've got that microphone up close, you can probably do a video at any time of the day, which is really, really cool." Staley, I want to ask you a question. You posted a video the other week at Guitar Center, and it was really smooth. So my question is, how did you do that? Did you have one of those gimbals? Because the new iPhones have really stable video. So when you watch my video from AES, you'll see the video is pretty stable, but it's not as stable as that. Like if you have a tripod or a handheld gimbal, I'm sure it's much better. But I never really got on with those gimbals. Never really understood how to use them, to be honest. They always just confuse me. I think I still have one. So I'd like to know what you use for that. That's really cool. And then here's Peter Gregg. How you doing, buddy? Who's that handsome guy in the live stream? And what do you do with Aaron? That handsome guy is Poo Ninja. Good to see you here. I've been watching you lately. I see you've lost a lot of weight. I'm very happy for you. And Peter has a new channel, Peter's Kitchen, where he shows us how to bake healthy goods. And I've yet to bake any healthy goods, but I do watch the videos. Poo Ninja says, I use Podbean. Yeah, I'm thinking about it, you know. The thing is, I like YouTube. I like the idea of having one home base, my YouTube channel. That's it. I want that to be my home base. Even for like, if I make a video of me singing a song, that's a video that a client can watch. Or I can just talk about my thoughts. And I haven't done many actual demos lately, but lately I've been thinking, you know what? There's so many demos. There's millions of demos now, right? Online, on YouTube. I thought maybe I'll just do some videos where I just talk about my thoughts like this. I'll just pick a topic. So let's say the Kemper. Okay, just going to talk about the Kemper for 10 minutes in a podcast format. And then put that on Podbean, which goes to all the podcast platforms, but also to YouTube. Because what I do a lot is I play YouTube videos while I'm doing other stuff. I'm just watching YouTube all the time lately. So a video almost is a podcast. Like this, you can watch this back tomorrow and listen to it. You don't need to see me unless I'm showing something on the screen. So this is a podcast. So I really like the idea of doing that, you know, like just talk about something. Because I've got so many products that I've got thoughts on that I either don't have the product or I don't actually want to make a full demo review with playing. because I just feel like there's million. I mean, to take the HD28, there's so many videos demoing the HD28. Do I need to actually demo it? But I could talk about it and talk about other guitars that I've compared it to in the past and the models that I've owned and what I feel about them. Now, some people would say that's really boring. Some people would say, why are you not playing the guitar? That's the kind of comment you'll get on YouTube. But my whole point with that format is it's meant to be like a review. It's meant to be like an Amazon review, but not a load of but not a load of lies. No, not that they're all a load of lies, but some of them are, right? You know, some of these reviews we read online and then it's just not true at all. So it'd be nice just to give reviews like that, like a spoken word review. Actually, that's a good idea, isn't it? Spoken word review. I was going to call it my thoughts on Martin guitars, my thoughts on Fender guitars, my thoughts on, and then just maybe not even be on the screen. I don't know. Maybe just have the audio. I don't know, but we'll see. Peter Gregg says, which iPhone do you have? So I have the 14 Pro Max, and it worked really well. It was very, you'll see the video's coming. In fact, can I show you a clip here? Oh, no, I can't because it's got the problem with the latest iPhone is it's in HDR, and when you drag that into Final Cut Pro, see another thing I've learned about YouTube this week. You drag that into Final Cut Pro, it's all blown out because Final Cut Pro is not compatible with that HDR mode. So what you have to do is apply a filter from the effects. It's called HDR Tools, which I've done before on the previous iPhone, and it was fine, I felt. But with the new iPhone, you have to do that and then go to the drop-down menu and then choose a different algorithm. It's the second one down. Because I was going crazy the other day. I was like, why does the video not look like it did on the phone? Because I didn't apply that algorithm to the filter. And then once I did that, it was absolutely fine. So learning a lot. No way. Staley said I got a Pixel 7 by hand. You videoed it by hand. It looks so smooth. Now there is the latest iPhone does have a new mode in it, which is called Action Mode, where it crops in and makes it very smooth. But I didn't want to use that. I mean, it's fine. It wasn't unsmooth. I know it's not a word, but yeah, yours look great. Wow. Drop a link to your channel in the chat for me. Says, I just got it last week. I do have a gimbal. I haven't used it. Well, I really thought you were using a gimbal with that. That's crazy. Wow. So did you just did it by hand? Did you enable some algorithm on the phone, or you just literally walked around with your phone? I love that. I love that Gear is making everything easier. That's what I love. If in fact you can just take a phone out like that, and I'm watching it and thinking you're using a gimbal, that's incredible, right? Well, the stabilization on the iPhone was excellent. You can see it; it's very smooth. If I'm careful, it's very smooth. But obviously, if you're walking around and your hands moving up and down, it's not. Again, it's not unsmooth. But it's not as smooth. I didn't think it was as smooth as Staley's video. So I don't know. Oh, the other thing is I used the Rode. I used these, and I also learned a tough lesson about these as well. So that's the first time I actually used these in real life, and it was excellent. So basically, what I did was the receiver I clipped on my shirt, and then the cable went to the phone, which I was holding here, and that was picking up the transmitter from the guest. Okay. Now, what I stupidly did wrong is I used this handheld attachment, which is in the other room, which basically turns this into a microphone. So there's like a plastic stick. It's a $30 plastic stick with a foam cover. I know it's ridiculous, but it makes it look like a microphone. You'll see it in the video when I post it later. So, of course, I didn't think ahead, because the problem was that it was a microphone on a stick. So at one point, I was holding it at someone's face. At one point, I was talking into it like this. At one point, the guest was holding it like this. So what happened? I had a massive range of sound difference, volume difference. So when I did this, it was clipping it. It was clipping the sound. And when they did this, you could barely hear them. So lesson learned, I'm not going to use that handheld anymore. What I should have done is when I lined up the guest for the interview on this video, I should have said, can we clip this to your shirt? They would have clipped it on here because it's got a clip on the back. And then if you think about it, the mic is on the top. Everyone is going to be basically the same distance. You know, whether you clip it on someone who's got a bit of a longer neck or a bit of a shorter neck, it's going to be within the same range, not like this was. This was crazy. The mic was all over. It was nuts. But anyway, I'm posting I salvaged the video, I feel, and I'm posting it regardless. Certainly better than using the phone's audio. But yeah, I'm not going to use the stick feature anymore. I'm just going to clip it to the guest. Doesn't even matter that you can see it. What we want is good quality audio. That's the most important thing. Peter says, 30 people watching. Why are there not more thumbs up? People don't care better than that. Well, Peter, I guess they don't like the stream. That's fine. I'm not offended. It's absolutely fine. Okay. Oh, but then Staley got reminded and did. I got 10. There we go. I got 10. That's good. You don't have to do it. You know, the problem I have with thumbs up on YouTube is that when you add a thumb up, I think people got this all wrong. Like when you thumbs up a video on YouTube, what it does is it adds it to your liked videos. And for me, the liked videos is a place where I store videos I want to reference again. So I was watching a song tutorial yesterday, so I liked it. Of course, I liked the video. If I didn't like the video, it would mean I didn't like it at all. I wouldn't want to have it in my saved folder. But I liked it predominantly to come back to it in the future. So when I'm watching someone's live stream, like you're watching my live stream now, unless I say something where you think, oh, that's a good tip, I want to come back and figure that out again, then I would like it. But I think this whole thing of liking a video just to support the channel, I think doesn't really make sense. Do you know what I mean? Because if you like the stream every week, but you're not actually going to watch it again because you've sat and watched it, that's just going to add those streams to your liked video section on YouTube. I bet a lot of people don't even go to that section. That's why it is. But I have that really as bookmarks. So I'll go back and watch those again. So I guess it does help the channel. Any interaction helps, right? So likes, dislikes, don't give me dislike, but likes, dislikes, comments, sharing, watching, not logging off, that all really helps channels, I guess. But the reason I use the like feature is to go back and watch the video again. So if I watch a video and there's a really cool tip, like I was just watching one about intonation on guitars or setting up your guitar, and there was a way of checking it, and I thought, oh, that's cool. I want to go back and just make sure that is how I'm doing it. I think that's how I'm doing it. I want to make sure that's how I'm doing it. So I hit the like button, and then when I go back to my liked videos, it will be there like a playlist. So I don't know. That's why I use it. So Staley says he just walked around and took small clips. So I guess that's the thing. I guess if you're very careful, if you hold the phone like this and you're very careful, it does have built-in stabilization. Actually, it physically moves the lens, doesn't it? So I guess if you're very careful, you can take some really cool videos. But if you're walking around, it's impossible. You're going to be bouncing about, right? So it's impossible to do that. Pooh Ninja says, "Gotta take a call." Oh, hang on, my phone's ringing. Oh, Pooh. Oh, really? Okay. Oh, yeah. I'll let them know. Okay. Okay. Thank you. He had to call me. I don't know why. That'd be expensive. The phone calls from outer space are so expensive, you know. My guitar sent video. Thanks for mentioning me. That's cool. Check it out. Oh, you put a link there? I didn't see it in the chat. Check out his channel. The clip-on mic must be super cool. Well, if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense. And these are great. What else you can do? The other thing you can do with these is you can plug in a lapel. So if you plug in the lapel here, and you can put a little tiny lapel mic on here, and then the clip can be used to clip to their belt or their back pocket. So that's going to be even more inconspicuous than just clipping this big thing on the shirt. But again, I feel like you see it so often now, it doesn't really matter. So you just get them to clip this here on this shirt, and the mic is right there. Sorry, this one. That's the receiver. Don't clip that onto them. But if you use this one, the microphone, and you get two of these as well. So what I should have done in hindsight, I should have clipped this one onto me and clipped the other one onto them. and then my audio would have always been exact. I mean, apart from this movement, my audio would have always been exactly the same, and their audio would have been exactly the same. And then there's other cool features too, like you can have 2 separate tracks, and then you have your voice on one track and their voice on another. It's a really good product. My only problem with these kind of products is like the Sennheiser wireless systems. Eventually, this battery is going to die, and you're going to have to throw it away and buy another one. And people have said that to me in the past about different gadgets and iPhones, and I've said, well, that's just the way it is. I'm okay with that. But I got to admit, when the Sennheiser one died after 2 years, I was a bit miffed. So, Thomas Moore, what do you think of the Zoom handheld recorders? You've asked me about the Vidami before. Zoom handheld. So I'm always looking at these. I'm always thinking about these because these Rode mics are excellent for interviews, for talking. People have used them on guitar. I don't think they sound very good on guitar myself. I did a test. I wasn't that. It works, but it's not great like a Zoom would be. So if you get something like a Zoom handheld recorder like this, let's go shopping. You get something like this, what you're getting there is 2 stereo microphones, and they're bigger too and higher quality. So this would be much better. If you're going to go to a guitar store, which I plan to do at some point, if you're going to go to a guitar store and actually record the guitars, you'd want to record it with this. So what I would do, let's say I'm going to go back to Rudy's, which I'm going to do. Oh, here we go. Yeah, thank you. Let's say I'm going to go to Rudy's and interview him and hear some guitars. You got that, Rosetta? Yes. Oh no, ban. You're banned. What was I saying? Thank you. If it's just, I don't even care about that stuff. It just distracts me because I see it over there. I guess it doesn't even matter, right? No one's going to click on it, are they? So I guess it wouldn't even matter if we just left it there, but it's just annoying. This is my plan. So if I go back to Rudy's, first of all, the phone video quality on the latest iPhones is incredible, as is all the phones now. Any phone now with a camera has a great camera, right? So I would use that for video. I'm not going to bother taking my Sony there. The Sony would be a lot better. But the thing about the Sony is it's big, it's valuable, and the battery life would suck. You'd have to plug it in, then you're tethered. I used my iPhone all day at that trade show, the AES show, and it was absolutely fine. I did have to charge it at night because I was out, I didn't go straight home, so it did start to die. I was worried my phone would die. I think it would have made it the whole day though, and I was filming a lot in the afternoon. So I definitely used my iPhone fully charged. That would get me through a whole afternoon of filming. So that's great. Then what I would do is I would clip one of these microphones to my shirt and one to Rudy's shirt. So we'd both be recorded directly at the same time into the phone. So then I can just use that audio as it is. I haven't got to import it. But I would also try to set because these are recorders as well. So I would also configure these to record if possible as well, a backup stream just in case something went wrong. But I've got to say, this was impressive. There was no dropouts on my video from these really, really good stuff. I know I've been a bit hard on Rode lately with the Rodecaster Pro 2. It's a great solution. So I'd have those. And then ideally you'd have something like this. So if one of the employees or Rudy wanted to play one of the guitars, I could put that in front of the guitar and get some decent audio of the guitar and then superimpose that over the top of the video. That's how you do a really good video. Yeah, that is the best way. And there's another company that makes these handheld recorders with a screen now that I thought looked really cool, but I haven't seen one in person. But that's what you're after. You're after those mics. I mean, look, here's the Zoom H6, the big mic. You want something with a big microphone on top. That's going to give you that quality. So it's something I'll have to get eventually, but well, I guess I will need one. If I'm going to do guitar store videos, I'm going to need to record the guitars, aren't I? So I guess I have to get one. There was one I saw recently with a color screen. I can't see it here. Pete Thorne had one, and I have shown it on here before, but I've forgotten who makes it. I guess it's either Zoom or Tascam, right? So we were looking at Zoom. I think it must be Tascam then. I like this one because it's got a nicer looking screen, but you got to consider the battery life too. Yeah, check this out. Currently $100 off. Again, I haven't tried it. Like, why is it $100 off? They made too many, or they're not very good. I don't know. I'm very cynical these days. But again, look, the two big microphones on top. You can have them crossing that way, crossing the other way. You can move them around. I think you can buy other mics as well, but these should be absolutely fine. And then you've got the touch screen. That's nice. Well, I think it's a touch screen, but at least it's a color screen. And look, you just hit record, and you're off you go. You got two XLR inputs as well. So if you were demoing a guitar at the store with a pickup system, you could plug it straight into one of those and record the pickup system. Nice big screen, easy to read. And there's also a backup. So if your other microphones went down, you could use this as, at least you could record an interview. If you found a quiet room and stuck this between the two people, it would pick up each person, especially with those microphones. One's going one way, one's going the other. So it'd be a great backup, a great way to record guitar audio or instrument audio. And then I would also use the clip-on mics to get that close-up direct audio without a load of background noise. So that's a great rig. I've almost got that rig. And the great thing with this is the heart of this rig is your cell phone. So the cell phone is so good for video. It's just, and it's not bad for audio, but if you think about it, the mic is in the phone and the person's talking a few meters away. You want them to be talking at the phone, and they can't, because then you've got to move your phone up close to them. That's why we use the wireless microphones, so they can walk around, do whatever they want, and you'll still get the same sound. Same with this mic. I like this headset because with my shotgun mic that I normally use, if I go over here or over here, you're going to hear the sound change. But with the headset, it's all, wherever I do, wherever I put my head, the sound is going to be exactly the same. And that's why this is great for podcasting, because I can sit here and just talk and move my head around and move my arms around and be talking about something, but it'll just sound like I'm static in front of a microphone. I can even walk around. It'll sound like I'm sitting in front of a microphone, where if I sat here and used my shotgun microphone, you're gonna hear that. You hear me moving around the room. My voice will go quiet. So, oh, caramba. Ban. Okay. So, yeah, that would be a great rig, actually. The Tascam, although I haven't tried it, but the Tascam, currently $100 off. Wow. That's a good deal. So you get that. You get the Rode Wireless Go 2 set, and you have your phone. Maybe upgrade to the latest phone. You've got a heck of a rig there. That is a heck of a rig. You can do anything with that. Absolutely anything. All right. I did a review on the Vadami. It may have been called something else, but check out the review. I think at the time I thought it's cool, but I had a Helix which would do the same thing. Exactly the same thing and more. So I would rather put the money into that. But if you just want something just for that one job, then it's cool. Yeah, there's nothing else like it. Well, there's MIDI pedals, but you've got to program them. So yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It's one of those things, I like the idea of it. And I think to myself, oh, I'm going to sit down and learn a song next week. I'm going to use that. But then I just won't bother. I'll just use my hand to do it. I'll just click on the screen. That's terrible, though. That's just me. But yeah, they've been out for a while. They're a good product. Single use. Well, a lot of stuff is, Yeah, so with the Tascam on the screen, you can change the battery, I presume. But with these, I don't think you can change the battery. You might be able to. And with some of these devices, people do actually do it themselves. They figure out how to do it. But really, stuff like this these days, like your phone, I guess the phone you can change the battery, right? But really, a lot of gear these days, a lot of any kind of gear, digital products are really meant to be kind of thrown away at the end. That's just the way it is. I was just upset with the wireless system, the XS wireless system, because I barely used it, and I was just over the return period, just over the warranty period by a week, and I hadn't used that much at all because of the lockdown. and then they wouldn't replace it. So I did buy another one because I use those at my shows. I use it to make money. And I actually bought it from Guitar Center. I don't buy a lot from Guitar Center. I buy some used stuff from there. But I bought this from there because they have the pro coverage. I also don't recommend anyone gets pro coverage or extended warranties. But I just have this horrible feeling that that will die again within 2 years, especially now I'm gigging again. And I'll be able to get a new one. They'll basically just give me they'll give me a coupon, and I can go online and just buy another one. So that's why I did it. If you're going to use the gear all the time for your work or for your, for your hobby, I think it's justifiable. If you're going to use it occasionally and it might break, then definitely don't do that. Jasper said, save my money and we'll buy a Boucher BG42. Now that's a guitar. I have Martins because I can afford them, but for this one I had to save money. Hey, maybe you like it more than a Martin, A guitar is a guitar. It's either good or it's not. If I ever get into interviews, that's certainly going to be something I'm going to look for. Yeah, so I went to Pittsburgh a couple of years ago, and I went to N Stuff Music. I bought a few things from them in the past, and it's a really cool store. So I did a guitar store walkthrough. But the problem I had is that I used my phone for everything. And when I got back to back home, I couldn't hear the audio. It was awful. So I never posted that video, and I feel terrible about that because the guy at the store took the time to walk around the store with me for an hour. I know we were promoting his store and everything else, but he took the time to walk around the store and do that video, and I never posted it. And the reason I didn't post it is the video was great, and that was last year's iPhone or the year before maybe, but the audio was terrible because it was a guitar store and it was noise. When you're doing an interview and talking with someone, you need this kind of sound. Even if there's music playing in the background, this thing would be fine, right? You'd still hear me loud enough. So that would have been so good. And the other problem there is he was turning his back to me. He was showing me stuff. He was walking downstairs, walking upstairs. So if I'd only give him, I don't think I had these at the time. If I'd only used these at the time, everything would have been perfectly audible. So it just means next time I'm in Pittsburgh, I've got to go there and do it again. That's not a bad thing, I suppose. Look at this guy. Helix forever. Wonderwall forever. This guy's lost his mind. Should I ban him? No, I won't ban him. How you doing, David? The things I do if I had a Helix. Well, Poo Ninja's good with this gear stuff. I don't really understand Poo Ninja. Because Poo Ninja is in every single Gear Chat's comments. And yet he's still using the Pod HD 500. So you're not really a gear freak at all, are you, Poo Ninja? You're actually incredibly sensible. Either that or they won't ship the Helix to Mars. I'm not sure what it is. Lee's here. How you doing, buddy? Working as usual. Sorry to hear that. Bouchers are amazing from my perspective, but I've never played one personally. Yeah, a lot of brands I haven't played. I tried to play some more when I went to Rudy's. I played a Loudon, played 2 Loudons. One was okay. One was like an old used one that was their sort of stage guitar. Wasn't that great, but it was designed for the stage, so I'll let them off because guitars designed for stage don't have to sound great acoustically. Sometimes it's better that they don't. And the other one was one of the high-end guitars that sounded actually had Blackwood back and sides like the Maintenance do. So it was good. It was good. I liked it, but the star of the show of that trip was the Martin D28 from 48 that we spoke about last week. I need a mod. I'm reporting too. Reporting? Thomas Moore still uses the Line 6 M9. Well, yeah, some of that, I always say this, some of the old gear is still the best, Like there was the best period of, I think the reason that I got into gear so much, and my problem, was that 2005 to 2015 was this, so I feel like it was a golden age. Because you had, whoever was like Line 6 at the time were making things like the Stagescape, the Stage Source, the PAs, the monitors, the mixers, the Variax guitars, all this like incredible innovation. Roland had their synthesizers and Fender guitars, and there was the Variax acoustic, and then Kemper came out. There was this time, and even before like YouTube really took off, it was this time of incredible like cool stuff and ideas. TC Helicon, Digitech are back, by the way. But TC Helicon, amazing. Like what are they doing? They're giving me harmonies, and I can plug in a Variax and all that. That's when I got really switched on to this stuff. That's when I got really excited by the whole gear thing. And then you got, in my opinion, 2015 onwards, I mean, I think the pinnacle of that was kind of the Helix and the new interfaces and the LCD strips and things. And after that, then a lot of companies stopped making certain products. A lot of companies, TC Helicon kind of disappeared. Digitech kind of disappeared. A lot of products were not made that were that innovative anymore. Like we got a lot of, like now, everything's just a flippin' electric guitar pedal, right? Everything now is for electric guitarists. There's so few products now. You can count them on one hand that are made for acoustic guitarists or singers or drummers or bass players. This is nothing. Everything falls under that electric guitar umbrella, in my opinion. And, TC Helicon, yeah, that was for electric guitar, but also for guitar/vocalists. The fact that it had that stuff in there for the vocalist was amazing. And I still love that product. I still use it now. Every time I do a show, I'm now using the Voice Live 3 Extreme, even though you can't get them anymore because they're all sold out because of the pandemic. Let's see. See, it says pre-order. And the price has gone up to $739. It's totally worth it, though, in my opinion. I love this thing. This is what I'm using now for everything, all my shows. Because I'm not playing electric, I'm just using it for the vocal effects, the mixing, the recording, and the looping, and the acoustic effects. So that's really cool. Yeah, that's what I thought. I need the mute button so I can cough. Hang on. Easy. Okay. Ever played the Larrivee that you like? Sadly, I haven't. Well, the thing about the Larrivees is everyone tells me they're amazing, but I've never actually played one yet. And they're interesting. There's a Tommy Emmanuel model, signature model with the cutaway, and I think this is a dealer now as well. I think I spelled the name wrong probably. Yeah, should we take a look at? Let's take a look at some. Does anyone own one of these? A friend of mine got the LV, a bit like this one, I believe. Might not be the 9. And his has moon spruce on it. He says it's excellent. So I don't know how I feel. Okay, let's critique this one. Price, pretty high, but same price as a Martin with a pickup with a Baggs Anthem. This has the Baggs Anthem. So that's pretty cool. I like that it's not the stage anthem, because I like the stage anthem, but I don't really want to cut the hole in the guitar at this point. So I like that it's just a regular install. I'd probably do the SL, but the full anthem is pretty cool. Let's check out the woods. So the back looks really nice, lovely grain. The top looks really nice, and the fretboard is not streaked ebony. I was gonna, yeah. That was for David Eidelberg. Personal joke. Well, because Martin are now using streaked ebony, right? So you get non-streaked ebony. I don't know if they've dyed this or if they've got black ebony. I don't know. Headstock's fine. Yeah, I like it. I'm not a big fan of the pick. That sounds ridiculous, but I don't like the pickguard pattern. I just don't like it. But the body shape is interesting. Look, it's not your traditional shape. Looks like a kind of a jumbo colorway. Yeah, I like it. But then I got to think to myself, how good does that sound? Because for that kind of money, you can get you can get a lot of other things. I was going to say Martin, but you can get, the Martin electroacoustics at that same price. And then when it comes to selling this on, it's going to be harder. And it's really impossible to sell anything right now anyway. But yeah, I don't know. I like the abalone around the sound hole. It looks like it's really high. I mean, the actual quality from these pictures looks like it might be. Look, lovely binding, wood binding. Looks like the quality might be better than, at least as good, if not better than, say, a Martin guitar, because they're not cranking out so many of them. But at the same time, it is the same price as the Martin, And I'd have to compare them back to back. I'd have to play them back to back. And if this really spoke to me, I would get this one if it was going to be a keeper. If it's a case of I might want to sell it on, then I don't know if I would want to go that route. But it looks great. And I feel like, yeah, I was going to say these prices have gone up, but of course the prices of the Martins have gone up. You know, the price of Apple stuff went up today. It's awful. I used the Apple One. It's like $30 a month, and you get everything included: the Apple TV, the Apple Music. Because now I'm locked into Apple. I love the Apple computer, and I've got the phone, and I'm locked into their plan, and it's great. But they're like, yeah, we're putting it up by $3. So it's like, well, I've got no choice now. I'm so locked in. I have to do it. But then again, I think Hulu went up recently, Netflix went up recently, so it's no surprise that these guitars are probably $500 to $1,000 more than they were 3 years ago, because everything has gone up that kind of amount. But for that kind of money, you can get a Martin with an Anthem. So I don't know if I would do it or not. But I haven't played one. So again, if I played it and it blew my mind, then yes, why not? Because I keep trying to tell myself lately that the sound is the most important thing. The sound and the playability is the most important thing, right? Oh, but okay. I thought it meant you haven't played one. But are you saying, Staley, that you've played some that you just don't like? Okay. Yeah. Oh, it was Lee. Thanks, Lee. Can you revert to full screen? Sure. Rosanna's cooking the dinner. So yes, they're a team. They're working together. Oh, what are you talking about, Gary Roberts? You don't know what you're talking about, Gary Roberts. Get out of here. You know what you're talking about. I'm just kidding. It is. I'm not talking about the Play Acoustic. The Play Acoustic is 60 seconds. I'm talking about the Voice Live 3 Extreme, which is long. I would never fill it up. It's too long. I'm not talking about the Play Acoustic. The Play Acoustic Looper is on the short side. Before they did a firmware update years ago, when it first got released, the looping time was only 30 seconds. So I would get through a song and it would cut off. It wasn't long enough. Then they did something in a firmware update to make it 60 seconds. And actually, I've never had a problem with that, because I only ever loop a verse or a chorus. And no verse or chorus that I play is longer than 60 seconds. So I've never had a problem with the Play Acoustic looper length. But the Voice Live 3 Extreme looper length isn't that hours? I don't know, but it's really long. And it gives you two independent tracks, or almost like 2.5 independent tracks as well, which is cool. I'm noticing car prices are dropping. Well, that's good to know. I'm not seeing guitar prices drop a lot, at least the ones I consider both. Yeah, I don't think they will drop, do you? And did the cars go up? I felt like with the cars, they just said the car's 30 grand and we're not giving discounts. Oh, no. Well, they were saying the guitars are 30 grand and we're going to charge you 35. We're going to sell it above the sticker price. They didn't do that with guitars, but what they did with the guitars is they said the guitar is 3 grand, and a few years ago we'd have given you 300 off. We're not going to do that. We're going to sell it to you at the actual price on the website because we haven't got enough to sell. Now we're seeing a lot of inventory, but there's some places are doing that still, I've heard. Some places are not. And then prices also seem to be going up every year as well. So it's a tough one. That's why the used market is such a great idea. You've got to look on the used market. You know, I have one of my stupid things that I've done in the past few years is I've bought guitars, kept them around, thinking I'll use them, maybe not use them, thinking I'll keep them for something later on and don't want to damage them, and then freaked out and sold it and lost money and basically sold something that is what you would get in a guitar store. I mean, I've done that more times than I care to remember. And my thing now is like, don't do that, because you lose so much money. If you buy used, sometimes sometimes you'll run across someone like me where they're selling something that's almost new condition and you get a huge discount. If they're in a hurry to sell it, you could get a huge discount. And especially if you buy through a forum and not through, I mean, I love Reverb. Reverb have been great to me this year with some problems I've had. But when you buy through the forums and you buy directly from friends, you can save a lot of money on a new guitar, especially now. It was one thing back in 2017 when it was when Sweetwater would like not charge sales tax and or not collect the sales tax, I should say, to be proper. And they also would give big discounts, and the stuff was cheaper. The problem now is none of that is true anymore, and quite the opposite, in fact. And the other problem for musicians, and this might just be me, but the money for musicians doesn't really go up at the same rate that the gear does it? I mean, maybe it does for you. It depends on what you do. But for what I do, it's not like I'm able to, you know, this is very personal, but, you know, where a Martin is now $1,000 more than it was 7 years ago, I don't feel like I'm earning that much. I might be earning more money because I'm working more, maybe because I'm busier, but then sometimes I'm not. So that's the thing of musicians. Who is buying that high-end gear? Are working musicians, gigging musicians buying that stuff? That's a good question. Can you help Rosanna with her algebra? I don't know what they're talking about. I missed that comment. But I'm not good at math, so I'm not even going to bother getting into it. Judy calls, have a great week. Pooh Ninja, you're like the wind. You're always stopping by. You never stay the whole time. You're always like dropping. I know what it is. You're probably going to another stream. I get it, because you're always in everyone's streams. Staley says, I've played several Larave's, older ones, and just didn't do it for me. So why do you think that is? That'd be a good question. Why? What was wrong with them? What did you not like about them? Let's see if we can figure it out. Because sometimes for me, it's just the fact that it's not something on the headstock. I'm not going to say that word. Sometimes for me, it's the fact that the brand is not on the headstock. Sometimes it's the way it feels. Sometimes it's the way it sounds. When I bought the Authentic Triple O, it was better than every other guitar in the store, apart from one guitar. What was it? Santa Cruz? Not Santa Cruz. Husson Dalton. That guitar was better, and it was the same price or a little bit cheaper. But I didn't buy that guitar. I still kind of regret it, because that would have been a better thing to have. Something different, a cutaway, a bigger body, a better sound, and that's saying a lot compared to a Martin Authentic, even though it's a smaller body. That's saying a lot, that it sounded better. Again, this is all opinion, and some people might want the sound of that guitar for what they're playing, but for what I play, that was a better choice. But I didn't buy it. A few reasons. One is that it's been in the store for a few years, which is a bit of a red flag to me. I don't know. And also, yeah, I knew if I didn't like it, I'd have a real problem selling it on. And I was right, because there's currently one for sale on the Acoustic Guitar Forum for half the price of that one. Or there was. I don't know if it's still there, but that guitar to me is kind of a used guitar now. It's been there for a long time. So I'll just buy a used one and save half the money. So that's why I didn't buy it. But in fact, it was the better guitar. But would I want it? Would I want it for those reasons I just mentioned? I'll end up selling it and losing money. That was my fear. Thomas Moore has a Larrivee 12 string. It's great. How long have you had it for? Very Martin-like sound. That makes sense to me. If you look at a lot of these brands, like the Santa Cruz guitars, and especially those guitars that look basically like a Martin, and they're made in a smaller factory. I mean, shouldn't they have that sound? There's no magic dust in there, is there? It's like they should sound the same, and they could potentially sound better because they're made in smaller numbers. But then the name's not on the headstock, which can be a real issue for people. You could get a used Husson Dalton TDR, very high quality Larrivee it's nice when you see the quality. I've had 10, 15 years bought used, plays fantastic and have great plugged in. I went to buy a Taylor and like this much better. Interesting. Customer support is nice, isn't it? It's a bit of a dying breed lately. With some companies, I feel, in my experience. Yeah, that's definitely a better guitar versus Taylor. To be fair, I like Taylor. I'm just reading the comments, by the way. Don't make a video of me saying like I like Taylor, I don't like Martin, I like Gibson more than Fender because I'm reading out the comments. Sound is most important with playability a super close second. I have played several Larave's, but I didn't like them. They were used at Guitar Center over the last decade. Eddie's Guitars, Friday with Matt Cholka. Demos, high-end acoustics, YouTube. Butchered his last name. Very helpful when spending big bucks. Yeah, how helpful do you think YouTube videos really are when you're buying a guitar, though? I don't know. I've been thinking about that lately. Because a lot of the videos are made either by the guitar store themselves, who obviously have an agenda, they're selling the guitar, or by a YouTuber who's paid to review the guitar. And I've got no problem with that. I've done some of those before. I don't really want to do any more of them because I mean, at the end of the day, the best thing is to play the guitar yourself, because I was just thinking today, like, about the whole Cole Clark versus Martin thing. The thing about the Martin is the way it feels when it some people will talk about the sound, which is fine too, but it's the way it feels when you play it. And you don't get the feeling of that guitar watching a video. You only get the sound, and the sound is through a microphone and may or may not be processed either. So I think it gives you an idea, but it's a shame that we can't get out to guitar stores these days, because then you could actually play them. And I wish there was more places where you could go and play all the guitars as well. So Rainsong now have an in-person showroom at their factory, but they haven't got every single model. I know it's unrealistic, but that would be the dream for me, to actually go there and play them all. Because even with Cole Clark lately, I'm thinking, I want to play them all. I've only played the all Blackwood guitars. I want to play the guitars with redwood on top, and the back and sides that are rosewood. Like, I feel like I'm not excited. I don't really know enough about them, the brand, because I can't actually get my hands on them to play them. And then you can listen to them on their website, but it's still not quite the same. Staley says, I think guitar prices will go down. I don't think so. I don't think they'll ever reverse it. I think maybe next year they won't put them up again. Like every January, or most Januaries, you'll see Taylor and Martin go up around that time. Maybe they won't put them up next year. And I don't think they're not selling as much as they were, are they? Let's take a look. So right now, you're buying OM28 from Sweetwater. They have one. Okay. You want to buy an HD28. And I'm just doing this because they're like major popular guitars. HD28, they have 4. And they may have more, of course. This is just on the website. So 4 of those. And a demo model. That's 5. Now, a year ago, they had none, right? And you just couldn't get one. So there's 5 right there. And the D28, another really popular one, 4. So yeah, that's the thing. There's no shortage of stock anymore. I don't think. I mean, PRS is still very back ordered. You can't buy a Silver Sky still. There are still guitars that are still back ordered, but some of these main guitars that we looked at a year ago and were really sold out are not sold out anymore. So it's interesting, but the prices haven't gone down. Will they go up again next year? Probably will. I think at that point it's best just to buy used. The other thing is, like, if you take a look at this guitar here. Now, we spoke about this a few weeks ago. If you don't like this streaked ebony, like if you like the streaked ebony, right, and you want a brand new guitar, this is great. If you don't like the streaked ebony, I really wish that streak was all the way down the center, but it kind of goes off to the side. If you don't like it, the best thing you can do is look for a used one from 2 years ago that didn't have the streak, and you'll probably get it for $2,200 if you're prepared to get one with a little bit of wear on it. There you go. It's just, for me, it gives me another reason to do that. But I know, at the same time, I like buying new, but if the prices keep going up and go out of my budget, I shouldn't speak for everyone. I'm just speaking about my own budget. My own budget basically revolves around what I make doing live shows, and live shows aren't going to go up $1,000 a year pay-wise, are they? They're going to probably stay about the same, maybe go up very slightly if you want to risk asking for a raise. So it's a tough one. but the used market is great. You can get some, if you, I know I've got people on the chat right now that buy used, that have told me to buy used and are looking around all the time. There's at least 2 of them. And I know they get some great deals as well. You don't often hear about people that lost money on a sale. A bit like, you know, but I know there's some great deals. Like when I bought my Cole Clark, got a great deal on that. But on the other hand, I knew the guy. He's kind of a friend of mine, right? We haven't met in real life, but he's a friend. That's another good thing as well, though. Like, have a network of people that like to buy and trade and sell guitars. That's a good way to do it as well. Ban. Thank you. Staley says buy used. Yep. I was so nervous buying my used Martin at 2,500, but I'm really glad that I did. You just got to be careful. You just got to ask the questions, you know? Can you send me more photographs? Are there any dings, any scratches that I need to know about? Has it been humidified? Has it been a smoke-free home? Are there any smells? That really sucks when you get a guitar that stinks, like the case stinks and the guitar stinks. That's horrible. You can get rid of that, but it's annoying. You might get a guitar where there's a ding in the back of the neck because to them, that's just normal after 20 years of playing. But to you, it might be annoying. So a really good idea to ask the questions. And the other thing I thought about in the future is either, like, you know, I do the unboxings with the GoPro, or just have your phone. I got a new thing that's a head strap that holds the phone instead of the GoPro because the camera is so much better quality. So next time I get a guitar or even ship a guitar, I'm going to do that. I'm going to put that on. It looks ridiculous, by the way. I'm going to put it on and I'm going to film that experience. And I'm going to check the thing very carefully. And if there's a little mark, I'm going to say, look, there's a little mark here on the guitar. Let's get the light shining on it so you can see it. And then you know when you've packed it away that that's how it was. And of course, when you buy a guitar, the same thing. So many times I've not checked the guitar. I've just taken it out and played it and just felt like, oh, it'll be fine, because why would they lie? Why would they not tell me everything? Well, it's not about lying or not telling you everything. Sometimes it's about the fact that what I might consider mint, you might consider excellent. So to me, I might say, this guitar is 20 years old. It's in mint condition for that age. But actually, no, it's got scratches on the back of it. And to you, that's not mint. To you, mint is mint, as in perfect. That's a good tip, actually. I think I got that from AudioMo, from AudioMo Music. I never did it, but I've had some bad experiences, so I'm going to start doing that. And then also, if I'm doing an unboxing video, that could also be the unboxing video. So it kind of makes sense anyway. Larrivee dislikes high action, dry woody sound, may have been shorter scale. Well, high action will be on any guitar because it's all about lowering the saddle. Dry woody sound, of course, that could be a problem. That could also be the humidity and stuff like that too. And may have been shorter scale. Again, you know, I often think about that, but honestly, I couldn't tell you if a guitar was short scale or not. When someone tells me a guitar is short scale, my first thing to think is I'm not going to like it. I like the sound of the long scale, but in reality, I don't think I could actually tell you if a guitar was long scale or not, depending on the setup of the guitar. That was I forget, the one that Staley said earlier. It's like a jumbo kind of size. So it had a cutaway, had bear claw all over it, but it didn't have a pickup. So I'm back where I started again. It hasn't got a pickup. What pickup am I going to use? Blah, 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 blah. You know? Staley says, I think setup is critical for me. I like the guitar more easily it plays. Yeah, it's true, but the thing about setup is it can also affect the tone, in my opinion, quite a lot. Like, I love a low action, but then you're going to get a little bit of buzzing, and you definitely lose some tone. If the strings are really high off the guitar, when you can then lay into it harder, and therefore you're also going to get a much bigger sound because the strings are, you can lay into it more. So the action definitely affects the tone of the guitar. So for me, it's always like that in-between thing. How do I get the action so it's easy enough to play but still sounds great? That's really hard to do. Sometimes you get lucky. Not at all. I get sucked in with pedal review and I thought and bought a few based on vids but didn't like them. Yeah, exactly. That happens all the time. I was watching someone today. Hang on. I was watching that pedal show and they said the same thing. Sometimes it's the thought of what that guitar or pedal or amp will do for me, like fantasizing about if only I had that guitar, then I'll be able to do this and this and this, and I'll sound like this and this and this. But actually, sometimes it doesn't happen. Oh, I need help with algebra on this equation. Yeah, I'm getting a headache just looking at that. I'm turning that off. Sorry. Yeah, Martin don't. That's right. They have the picking parlor with like 8 guitars, 12 guitars. Why can't they have one of each guitar of the current series ready to go that you can play it? I guess they'd need a bigger room, but that'd be cool, wouldn't it? Yes, that's true. Gibson Garage does have almost every model. Yep. That's a cool place. Yes, I believe you can. Thomas Moore says, I wonder if you can walk into Sweetwater and say you want to play a certain guitar. If it's in stock, they will get it from the warehouse and you can play it. Now, my question then is, does that become a demo? When they sell these guitars as demos, is that then a demo guitar? I guess they look it over, and if it's got some scratches on it after that point, they would sell it as a demo guitar. Interesting. But yeah, you can do that. So that's probably a good thing to do. Oh, don't do maths today. I can't think about those things on a good day. You're welcome, Staley. Thanks for being here. Larry, how you doing? My Martin DX1 RAE is still playing well. No need to replace. So that's good. And that's the most important thing, isn't it? To enjoy the things that we have and keep them in good working order as well. If it ain't broken, don't break it. Ban. Okay. Yeah, and that's the other thing. Some of these guitars that are laminate, they're better because they're not going to crack. They might crack. They're less likely to crack. So you can leave it out the case. You can play it more. You haven't got to baby it and worry about it. Short scale play is completely different to me for some reason, but I'm extremely sensitive to things. Yeah, I can't. I don't know. And the 00028, you see, I never buy triple O's. I bought the 00028. It doesn't feel like short scale to me. But the thing for me is everything combined. It's the nut width, the neck shape, the action, the tension or the scale length. It's all those things combined for me make the feel of the neck. It's not just one thing. So if I have a fat neck, but it plays really well and it doesn't bother me, it's actually quite comfortable. If I have a fat neck and high action, then I might say, oh, I don't like the neck. No, it's not that. It's I don't like the action, maybe. So I don't know. For me, it's always the sound. For me, the short scale is going to play easier because it's a shorter scale. There's less tension on the strings. But for me, it's always I'm losing something with the sound. I'm not getting that harder, louder, punchier sound. But then again, maybe that depends on the guitar, not just the scale length. Hudson Dalton is a Dread. I think it was a Jumbo. The one I tried was a Jumbo. If that was a Dread, then that's not a fair comparison at all, is it? That should sound a lot better. Oh, Gary, hey, it's been a long time, buddy. How you doing? EV are teasing a new portable. That's just what we need. Another portable amplifier. Well, that's okay. Competition is a good thing. So what I'll do is Electro Voice Instagram. Let's see if I can find it. Teasing it. why would you tease an amp, an acoustic amp? Come on, seriously? In fact, you're right. They are indeed teasing the amp. Can I show this to you? 1 second. I need to share the screen. Yes, I can. Here we go. Yeah, you're right. I didn't know about this. I'm getting behind. So look, it looks like another S1 Pro JBL compact type speaker. Okay. So the real question is, what do you want from it? What can they possibly do with this that makes it a competitor for those other products? Because the S1 Pro is really small and simple. So if you want something just really small, you can grab and just plug it and just go and not think about it. That's great. Of course, that comes with the caveat of it might not be sounding how you want it to sound. And if you want something a bit bigger, maybe for bass guitar, or just a bit bigger with more controls, like the app control, then you get the JBL. To me, they've got the market sewn up with those two products, and they're both excellent what they do. So I wonder what this will offer that they don't offer. It looks like it's a decent size, so I don't think it'll be small. I don't think it'll be smaller than the S1 Pro. I can't really tell from the picture, but what can they add? You know, on the other hand, it's a very popular market. If they can make this thing affordable and give it some cool features, they'll definitely sell them. Because a lot of players don't want a full PA; they just want a little amp like mobile PA like that. So maybe they'll give it a cool feature, and they do make some cool PA systems that people love. So if they give it a feature like maybe you can plug two together and double the mixer or something like that, because that's what people always say to me, Aaron, can you plug in two JBLs and have a combined mixer? No, you can't, but everyone's always asking for that. So if you could do it with this product, that would definitely sell a lot. Definitely. So that's interesting. Thanks for letting me know about that. I didn't know about it. I just wish they wouldn't tease it and would just tell us when it's coming, what it is. I got no idea. Electro Voice battery amp. I'm trying to see if it's on their website. No. See, they make the Evolve 50M and 30M. People love those. I never tried one. I've heard one a few months ago, but I have never tried one. But people love them for the price and the features. They absolutely love them. They're always talking about them on Acoustic Guitar Forum. I'm looking for this new one. I don't see it. I don't think it's not been announced yet. No. Okay, well, we'll talk about that another time when they give more details, but that's interesting. Oh, the product announcement is the 25th, tomorrow. Great, great, great. Thank you, Gary. Appreciate you sharing that. I didn't know about that. Yes, it does look larger than S1 Pro. Yeah, I know the feeling. What you just described about necks and playability is huge. I had a mind-blowing Collings OM2H colorway with Madagascar rosewood and German top. It always played tight, can't explain it, and sold it. Yeah, I think for me, the problem with like a guitar is sometimes you just get lucky. You get the guitar and it just plays great out of the box. And if it doesn't play great out of the box, I bet you can probably get it to play great out of the. I bet you can have someone make it play great because it's just wood and strings at the end of the day. But the problem with us is we probably don't want to go through that. So like with me, if I really like a guitar, I'll take it to my tech and ask him to set it up and then give it another shot. But at that point, I'm just like, it's not working for me, I'll sell it on. But I don't necessarily think that's the right idea. And sometimes I believe you get used to stuff too. When I got the Cole Clark, the latest Cole Clark that I have that I'm currently gigging, something was a bit off for me. It was like The wood they used on that particular model was a bit rough on the fretboard, which I don't feel, but it bugged me a bit in my mind. The playability wasn't quite there. I was thinking about having the action dropped on it. And then I took it to my guy and he said, the winter's coming, it might drop, so wait a little bit longer. So I just had him straighten the neck completely straight and brought it home. And I don't really have I've kind of gotten used to it now. And what that makes me think as well is, how often do we just get used to something? How often do we start this journey and we buy a Martin Standard Series and we play that for 3 years and then nothing else compares because it doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel like home. It feels, alien and strange to us. I think that's, and I'm not saying that's for everybody or it's a blanket statement, but that must happen. We must get used to certain things and then something, even like a Strat versus a Les Paul. If you've only played a Stratocaster for 5 years and someone hands you a Les Paul, you're going to say, "Oh, I don't like this. It kind of it's the body's kind of heavy compared to my Strat, and the neck feels different." I feel lately that I'm not so much that way. I feel like I do give stuff a bit longer, and that's a good thing. And I'm a bit more, and I'm constantly fighting that thing of like, oh, I want to play certain brands, but I'm more open these days to trying new things and giving them a chance. I think that's important too. I think it's very easy to just dismiss stuff and just say it's not for me because it's not what we're used to. And actually, Gary, that's interesting. There's a few things happening this week. So if you've got Apple stuff, all the devices were updated today. And I recommend you update, say, your phone and iPad, because the software the phone shipped with was very, very basic. And now they're on 0.1. Now is a good time to update your phone if you haven't already. With the computer, I would not update your Mac if you do music production, because a lot of the plugins will not be updated. It takes them a long time to do it. So I wouldn't update that quite yet if you use your computer for live streaming, recording, and stuff like that. Unless you want to take the risk, of course, that's up to you. And it's the same with other products this week. Oh, yeah, Ecamm Live, the software I'm using now, they have a big announcement or a live stream demo on Wednesday, where I believe they might announce some more new features for the beta software. So I'm excited for that. And Neural DSP still haven't released 2.0, but they have a summit tomorrow. Neural Summit, I think. Maybe they'll do something. I hope so. It's taken long enough to do it. There's a few announcements this week that I've heard about, and product launches. Oh yeah, Rode have another product coming out this week. So it blows my mind that, when I started doing these live streams in the lockdown, I thought to myself, you know what? I can do the live stream and I can talk about news and stuff, but at the end of the day, there won't be enough products to do that with. Every single week that I've been live on this YouTube channel, there's been a major product announcement of some kind. Every single week, there's either been a big piece of news, or almost every single week, I won't say major, but a big product release. It's like constantly there's new stuff coming out constantly, even through the pandemic. Well, maybe not right in the heart of the main part of it, but it feels like there's just this constant barrage of releases and re-releases, and Fender just released the new vintage series. That's the guitars they've made for years, but with a new name and some slightly adjusted specs, right? And we're getting that all the time. So it's very easy to get lost in all this stuff as well. All right. Just bought a student around to shop for guitars. A $200 Alvarez. Don't even know which country it's from. Sound and play better than things 5 times its cost. Yeah, I've always said that about the Yamahas, right? The Yamahas that are under $1,000 sound better than most guitars. Most guitars. But do you want to play the Yamaha? Do you want that guitar? Do you like how it looks? Do you like how it plays? Do you like how it's mostly how it looks, sadly. But they sound excellent. And they're still great value now, even with the price increases. I'm not sure if they did price increases at Yamaha, but maybe they did. What's Rode pushing out this time? I recently got an SE version 7 microphone for people to sing with and don't really like it. so highly rated online. I can't stand the hype around these products. And like you're saying, like, what are they releasing? We don't know. It's another teaser. I don't like that. You're not Apple, you're making all this excitement over something. Just tell me what it is. And I had such a bad experience with it. Well, not a terrible experience. I take that back. But the Rodecaster Pro 2, you got all those YouTube videos, all those pre-release videos. Oh, this is wonderful. This is great. No, you didn't test it in Logic. It's not good for recording. And that's why I made a video about it, because I bought one, I sold it, I lost money. So annoyed that no one bothered to mention that in their videos. I'm really, as much as I went through this phase of like, YouTube is a great way for a musician to make some extra money as a side gig from doing gigs, and I tried doing the whole product reviews and paid demos and things, and I tried that in the lockdown, and it was good to do that because I wasn't working, and I think I did them fairly. But I don't like the extreme. To me is getting a piece of gear and leaving stuff out. I'm not saying that people left stuff out, but again, it's rushed, isn't it? Because what happens is you get the gear, you want to get the video out first, so you get the views. I totally get that. But you don't have time to try everything. And then if you come to that video a year later and watch it, you might buy it based on that video. And I know it's really hard. It's really hard. I'm not saying that everyone can buy everything they review and use it for 3 years and then review it. By that point, they probably don't even make it anymore. They've made a new version. I do get that, but just be wary. Just be wary of these things. I keep doing the same thing myself. You may notice I have a new chair. So I got a chair from Amazon, and of course, the reviews at the top are all 5 stars, and it wasn't cheap either. So I thought this will be a great chair. I then get it and realize that I'm 6'5". This chair is not comfortable at all. I'm going to return it. And I then look down the bottom of the reviews, and there's one review where a guy says, I'm tall and this is not good for me. I'm like, there we go. There's that one person that actually bothered to leave the review that is helpful, that's buried at the bottom of all the other reviews, and all the other ones on top. I mean, I don't know if they're real or not, but they certainly weren't helpful to me. Then again, maybe they're not 6'5". So I guess my point I'm trying to make here is you need to freeze the credit card and watch a lot of reviews, read a lot of reviews, and try to get something from that. And also buy stuff that you can return, because I found another company that makes chairs for musicians. I really want to check it out. And you can return to them, but it'll probably be harder to return than it is to Amazon. So if you know of a good chair, I am gonna look for another chair. I don't want the back of the chair to stick up above my head. I love this today that there's no chair behind me. You see, it's lower down, but it's just not very comfortable at all. So who would have thought that even buying a chair for YouTube videos is a whole ordeal, right? It's like everything you buy, you've got to be so careful you get the right thing. Because there's millions of things out there. There's millions of chairs that you can buy. There's millions of microphones you can buy. There's millions of guitars, billions of guitars you can buy, right? You got to be so careful. So I don't know what Rode are releasing, but I'll be watching it for sure. We'll talk about all this stuff next week. Lots of reviewers aren't. I get that. I'm not here, saying everything's lies and BS. I'm not saying that at all. I get that it's very hard to find someone that does the thing that you do. And the way, again, this chair, right? To me, I can't use this chair. Like right now, I've been online for an hour and a half. It's uncomfortable. But if you weren't 6'5", it might be the best chair you've ever had. So that's why you've just got to watch a lot of reviews to find that one review where the guy or girl will say, I'm 6'5" and this is not comfortable. Okay, there you go. That's your answer. So you just got to look through a lot of stuff and find people that you can relate to, I guess, right? Badura, thanks for the question. I was going to wrap things up, but I will, as you're new here, I will answer your question. Thanks for being here. Please subscribe if you're new here as well. Where's my subscribe button gone? There we go. Sorry, Gary. Oh, and Gary did say there's no return policy in Singapore. You see, that's really tough. At the same time, the incredibly open return policy in America can lead to impulse purchases, and maybe we don't consider our purchases as well as we should do. Let's just say that. At the same time, not being able to return something is a big problem as well. Let me answer Badura's question. From Morocco, good to meet you. So, do you recommend the Fishman Matrix Infinity Mic Blend over the Baggs Anthem? I have to give you a quick answer. You know, someone asked me on a comment this week, they said, you've tried everything, all acoustic guitar pickups over the last 7 years. Which is the best? I can't answer that question. If I knew the answer to that question, I would not. I probably wouldn't even be here. I'm still searching. I do have some very strong opinions. So I'll give you a quick overview of this. So when the Fishman Matrix Infinity Mic Blend was announced, I loved the idea of it, and I did try it, and I've got the review of it up, as you've seen. And I love the idea that the Fishman is the pickup, the undersaddle is non-invasive, the mic is in the sound hole. The problem is, for me, there's a lot of stuff in the guitar, lots of wires running around from the mic and the controls and the battery and everything. So that was a bit annoying. But the biggest thing is you've then got that in the sound hole. And lately I'm using these sound hole covers all the time. I don't want the mic in the sound hole because then I can't put this in. It's very important to me lately that I can put this in the sound hole and not have anything obstruct it. So that's my thought on that. And then the Anthem, for me, is a bit too invasive under the saddle there. I don't really, I try not to use it lately, although I do still recommend it. Just in my opinion, I don't like what it does to the guitar. I want to try and keep the guitar minimal, or maybe have nothing in there at all. So it's really tough. So despite all that, I would go for the Anthem because there's less cables potentially rattling around, and it uses a crossover. You're probably going to get less feedback, and the mic is tucked under the guitar. Whereas in the Fishman, it's at the sound hole, sitting there right on the sound hole. So if I had to choose, I'd do the Anthem. And something I thought about today from someone spoke on Facebook, I would do the Anthem SL. And what you do is, I should really make a video on this. When you get the controls that give you the volume and the tone, whatever it is on there, I think it's just volume. So say this is the volume control for the Anthem SL. You don't stick it in the sound hole so it's sticking out the sound hole like they intend you to, because then you can't put in the plug. And you'll see people cutting holes in the plug. You don't need to do that. What you do is you stick that a little bit further back in the sound hole if your guitar will accommodate that. Most guitars will. That way you can still use the controls, but you can't see them at all. And you can still use the sound hole plug. So I would do the Anthem SL. My only issue with that pickup is I feel like it does change the sound of the acoustic guitar sometimes. But if you're going to play that guitar all the time professionally, then do it because you're using it all the time professionally. What I tend to do lately is I have a guitar which is just a stage guitar. The Cole Clark. Actually, I don't mind the Cole Clark unplugged. It's just a different sound, but it's really a really great guitar to use live. That was a decision I made about a year ago, or 6 months ago. I don't want to compromise anymore. I don't want to keep looking for a pickup that sounds incredible like the guitar, but then fills the guitar. I like the idea of just buying a great acoustic and then buying a great stage guitar. But there's a part of me that still wants them to be the same thing. But I don't think that's possible unless you're willing to compromise. And some people are more willing to compromise than others. Some people will hear those things more than others. So I would do the Anthem SL, put the controls back in the guitar, use the sound hole plug on loud stages if you need it. Maybe you might not need it in some places. Yeah, and it's funny, I started the show with that, Gary. I was looking at these new monitors that will give you a completely flat sound. They look awesome, but think about it. If I try a new acoustic guitar pickup in here with those monitors, and I've got mine treated with that plug-in, or whatever they're doing, DSP, and then I tell you it's great, and then you get it, and it's feeding back more, yeah, because straight away you've got 6 dB more of low end in your signal in your room, but I didn't have in my review. And that's why trying through your gear is so important. That's a good point. Gigging musicians have a different perspective on gear to people that play at home. Yeah, definitely, obviously, and definitely, yeah. And yes, the options keep us distracted. I mean, sometimes in a good way, Staley. You know, I spend a lot of my time watching YouTube videos on gear. I keep telling myself, don't get sucked in, don't buy something. But I find it almost like company, you know? Like I'll wake up and I'll put on a YouTube. I wake up and I'm hoping there will be a video from someone that I like and just put it on the background. I like that. I've even thought like I should just cancel the Hulu, the Netflix, the Apple TV. I don't sit and watch those. I watch those every few months. But I have YouTube all the time. So having that YouTube Red for like $10 a month, whatever it is, that's great. I use it sometimes, just listen like a podcast. It's great. Why the Soundhole cover? Feedback rejection. Yes. Yes. Not saying, there's a few reasons actually. I'm not saying that I get feedback at my gigs. But I did get it once at a venue where it comes out of the whole system around the restaurant. I don't want that to ever happen. Also, when I'm looping, I don't want the voice or the noise in the room to go into the microphone inside the guitar. And it's really a safety measure. It's really, for me, like if I happen to turn around to face the speaker by mistake, it won't then feedback. Because there's nothing worse than feedback at a gig. I feel like people judge you on that, right? Oh, it's feedback. It must suck. Yeah. Sassy Cat, thank you. Really appreciate that. Wow. Let me give you one of these. Air horns. Thank you. Yeah, I want to make a video on these because it's funny. For many years, I was completely against the Soundhole plug, and now I'm all for it, and I try to use one as often as I can. And that tip about the Anthem SL really works. You know, you can, and I love it. There's nothing in the Soundhole, so it looks cleaner, and you can use this. It works on the Lyric as well. Doesn't work on the full Anthem. And obviously K&K, Cole Clark. With some guitars, I've had to modify them. So yeah, this will actually be incredible. This is going to be an incredibly boring video that I'm going to make on Soundhole plugs. There are not many videos on Soundhole plugs on YouTube. So it'll either do really well or really badly, but I really believe in these now. And there's a few things you should know about them. One example is choosing the correct size, modifying it for your guitar, because all Soundholes are different sizes and all these plugs are different sizes. Martin do not make one for their guitars. They sell one, but they don't make one that actually fits all their guitars. It's crazy. The Yamahas with pickups come with a Soundhole cover, which is really cool. So I'm going to make that. I just haven't had a chance lately to record. And I feel like that video is important that I actually make that and put all these things into one video. Because if you sit and watch that, I think you'll then understand where I'm coming from. Whereas I think if I said to someone on Facebook, use a Soundhole cover, they're just going to say, no, I don't want to. I think if I actually explain all different scenarios and how I use it and why I use it, I think then it'll become more applicable. I would even analyze the tone with and without the Soundhole cover through the pickup to show that it's the same. It's not affected negatively by the Soundhole cover. You see, this really is the question that's driven me crazy the last 10 years. I gotta let it go. But I've been watching a lot of other channels lately, and they all say stuff in the guitar affects the tone. They say they can hear it. So I don't know if you can or you can't. I don't know if it does or it doesn't. It's a bit like the headstock thing for me. Maybe I want the guitar to say Fender on the headstock and not Sir. Maybe that's what I want. And that's just an example because I have a Sir and I love it. Same with the pickup thing. Maybe I just feel like when there's no pickup in my guitar, it sounds better. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it sounds worse. But if in my mind it does, it's like if you play a tube amp and a Kemper, and you think to yourself, you know, science shows that they sound exactly the same. If you're going to say to me, well, I want to play a tube amp, I want to know in my mind that I'm playing a tube amp. That's fine. So that's where I kind of got to with the Anthem. I still recommend it. I still think it's one of the best third-party systems out there. But for that reason of all the stuff in the guitar, I haven't played mine for a long time. And I've tried the K&K again. The K&K does not sound great through headphones. I'm going to try adding the Trinity microphone to it because I think that will sound really good. But ultimately, my choice lately is just to play the Cole Clark because it has 3 pickups in there, and it sounds great in headphones. It sounds great in the room. It's got lots of other cool things about it as well. So very, very frustrating, that is. Very frustrating. Thank you, Sassy Cat. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's been a while since I saw you. Meow. Thank you. Gary says, I see I have a cover and don't bring it for performances. Should give that a go. Yeah, there's some other reasons too. A friend of mine uses it to protect the edge of the sound hole from pick wear. Because you'll see that the edge of this will take the wear of the pick and not the wood of the guitar. If you practice at home, it will make the guitar quieter for your neighbors. It will stop you dropping picks inside the guitar. This is going to be a good video. Don't steal my video idea. Don't tell anyone about this video. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Just got to make it. No, I like the Stage Pro. I like having access to the controls. It's just one day if they release a new version, are you going to be able to put that inside your guitar? But I'm not. Again, thing I like about the Cole Clark is the controls are on the guitar. I can quickly make an adjustment if I need to. That can be a good thing as well as a bad thing. All right, I'm going to wrap things up because I've been on for an hour and 48 minutes. I'm going to say goodbye. If you're new here, please subscribe and ring the bell. I hope that was interesting today. It's a bit of a rant. The video from the convention, from this show behind me, is out tomorrow morning. Please watch it. Yeah, please do. The best thing to do to help me is to comment on the video. You don't have to like it. I mean, you can like it if you want to, but just write a comment on the video. Say what you like, say what you don't. And then if you really like a video I post, and share it somewhere, it'd be great. But yeah, it was fun. I really enjoyed getting out in the real world again. I know we've been open for a while now, but I haven't been to a trade show like that in a while. It was very busy and it was very nice to do so. It wasn't as busy as the last one that I went to they had, but it was really well attended. And I saw Mitch Gallagher there from Sweetwater, and I saw Warren Hewitt from Produce Like a Pro. They were both too busy. I wanted to get them on the video. They were too busy, unfortunately. I couldn't track them down. But that'll be out tomorrow. I'm going to finish editing that tonight, post it tonight. That'll be on tomorrow. And then hopefully I'll see you during the week. If not, next Monday, every Monday, 4 o'clock. I like to just chat about these random things. It's very interesting for me too. So take care. Be well. I'll see you next time. All right. Bye-bye.
I'm not lost, but I'm not